Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Megan. If you didn't know, now you know. Today we're doing watercolor, and not just a watercolor look or a watercolor effect. We're doing watercolor paints. Let me show you. So this is obviously not fresh. These are my watercolor paints, but they're really cool. You get these on Amazon. I'll definitely leave a link. They're real paint. You get them wet with water and a watercolor paintbrush, and you make paint. And I'm gonna make it on nails. I'm gonna tell you, it's not as easy as it looks. It took me a while to figure it out, and it took me finding the right video by the right creator for my watercolor for dummies brain to get it together. So if I remember, I will link her in the description. So if you can't figure it out from what I'm doing, then you can go to someone who you can figure it out. But this is awesome. I'm gonna do it in fast forward mode because it is not quick. I might put voiceover, I might not, we'll find out, but let's get to it. So I am going to put on some tips on a stand, not on my hand, but we're gonna pick them out, and then I'm gonna paint it on the stand, and we'll put them on after because I have to be able to spin it to paint it. Let's get some. That seems like a pretty good fit. You do want these to fit sidewall to sidewall. You may have seen me use these tips before, and I think I remember my sizes. We're doing so far so good. So good so far. Yes? Yes. Okay. All right, we've got them. I'm gonna throw them on here. Okay, so I am going to paint these white and then mattify them, and then we'll start painting. So I'll be right back when these are ready. All right, I did decide to go ahead and pop you in a little voiceover. I am really enjoying watercolor painting. It was really hard for me to wrap my brain around it, but now that I have, I'm finding it much easier, and I'm making better art, which I love. And in fact, I also figured out how to make decent looking lightning with a black base and this white, silver, metallic iridescent watercolor paint. You guys probably have that little set, the one that says Galaxy on it. There's like 12 colors. Well, there's so many more. And I've never been able to successfully paint a lightning nail, but with those watercolors, I made a good looking one. So at some point, hypothetically, I do want to make another video of watercolor paints doing that technique. And I'm going to continue developing my watercolor skills so that hopefully I can create something that looks professional. This is pretty decent, but I know it can be so much better. In the videos that I've watched, there are some amazing watercolor flowers, and I think I can get there with enough practice. From the time that I started painting nails, it has come a long way. I have grown my skills exponentially, and so I know that I can continue to do so. And I am really good at learning things, so I know that I can learn new skills. It just takes a little bit of time, but I've got all the time in the world since I don't actually have to do this. I do it for the love of it. Let me know if you've done watercolor nails before with actual watercolor paint, or what medium you prefer. I know that you can do it with acrylic and just like thin it down a little bit, and I believe you can even do it with gel if you thin it down enough. Not super sure on that one though, so let me know what you do. I also have some water decals that are just pre-made watercolor flowers, which I underutilize my water decals, let me tell you. They are magnificent, and I forget that I have them, and I forget how easy they are to actually use, and I am really cutting myself short. So I need to utilize those, but I also would like to be able to actually make those with my own hands. So perhaps maybe I'll get some of those out and then try and replicate them. That would be a really great way to practice watercolor. This nail turned out to be my least favorite of all, especially that purple flower. It just wouldn't quit blurring together. The orange one's not so bad, but I would have liked if I did them all like that, but a lot more densely packed so that there wasn't a lot of white. And those leaves look terrible. They're too small for the flowers they're with, and they're not the right shape because they're pointed where they're touching the flowers, and that don't make no sense. Pardon me for being all kinds of out of frame. What I'm gonna do is get some tape and just put it on my table so I can keep my hand in the frame, because I just get so wrapped up in my painting that I am not noticing where I'm at in the camera. I'm so sorry, but at least I'm having a good time, and I think these petals are actually coming out pretty decently. I am happy with the way they look. Now, I'm not in love with the way that they go together on the flower. It doesn't look like a great flower. They should have been a little bit more overlapping, and I don't know, more or less petals, maybe just bigger petals. I like that blue that I just put in there with the darker ring as well and a bit more of a point. My flowers often ended up being round petals when I really prefer a pointed petal. And I went ahead and did a black flower because that's my vibe. I love the colors. They're beautiful. That's great. But inside, I am a dark queen, and I just needed a black flower to bring it all together for me. I hope some of the parts were slow enough that you were able to see how I was doing this, so that if you are not familiar with how it's done, you can take this information and perhaps be able to make a watercolor petal yourself, and then the designs that you would like to. I would love to see them. Please tag me if you have watercolor nails. All right, so here are our watercolor flowers. I made some black ones too, just because I like it. We're gonna let these dry, and then we're gonna top coat it in. So I'll be back. All right, here they are. Those are looking real pretty, if I do say so myself. I've got a lot of room for improvement, but you know, this is still my first set that I've done. So I think they're pretty good. I like them shiny too. They're nice and smooth. I'm gonna put them on and then get you some photos. Let me know what you think of watercolor. As you can see, it's actually quite effective for nail art. Have you ever done watercolor nail art, and how did you do it? Did you use watercolor paints, or did you use some other paint, whether it be gel polish or regular polish or acrylic paint or whatever it is? Have you done watercolor, and what is your technique? And I will leave the link in the description for not only this palette, but some watercolor brushes if you want to give this a try. It's really not even expensive and definitely fun. You can watercolor on paper the normal way, but it's much more fun to do it on nails. I can tell you, it's easier if your nails are matte. And even though I mattified these nails, they were still beating up a little bit. And so I would say go ahead and just buff the nail actually, so it has that texture, because that texture makes that paint stay better. And so that helps. There's a learning curve, but you'll get it. I've got faith in you. Thank you so much for watching my video, especially if you made it to the end. Definitely do check my description for discount codes and links and all that good stuff. Anything you might need is down there, including the links to my socials. Make sure you're following those as well, so that you're not missing the things I post over there that don't make it over here. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.